Okay, little introduction video to this Jeep. This is a 1988 Jeep Wrangler YJ, 4-liter conversion. I'll pop the hood in just a minute. Bare stock, I think. I don't know if it's a Laredo or anything like that. I'm not too much into Jeeps. It's been a couple years, but this is what we've got to work with. Turn it into the Rover 1. Now I'll give you a little side by side. You can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so that will be the final product. Probably take 3 years, but hey, lots of videos, right? A couple things we need to do right off the bat are tend to those leaf springs. They're pretty sag-tastic. Then we need to clean this up, get new doors. I'm trying to find doors right now, ones that are black even, and that come with all of the door hardware and stuff, because the hardware I have doesn't work. It's all broken. And then of course I want to tend to these floors, especially that floor. I've got a replacement floor pan in that box, so I'm going to see about getting that on. And then I've got to get the fuel gauge working and the temperature gauge. They both don't work. The engine does need a tune-up. I took this thing on the highway. Once you're going 105th gear, it is stuttery the entire time. So I got to tend to that. Probably just a few sensors and a light cleaning. Clean out the back. Those are half doors. I'll probably sell them. And I think when it comes to extending this thing to about here, I'll give you a better look. So the Rover 1 is a lot longer than this. And I thought initially they cut the frame in the front of the wheel and extended the frame behind the wheel, but now that I look at the Rover 1 pictures, I think all they did was extend the wheelbase by literally moving the leaf spring from this location all the way back as far as you can go before you get that arch in the frame, and then having a bigger or longer leaf spring. So effectively you move the tire 4 inches that way, and then you extend the rear of the frame however many inches, and so you have a longer frame effectively, and a longer wheelbase. So that's cool. Also in the Rover 1, to accommodate the 37-inch tires, you have to get 5-lug to 8-lug adapters. I'm going to have steel ones made for me, and then that'll give us a wider, stronger track as well, so the thing doesn't tip over on us, because Jeeps roll apparently. And there's a few other things we have to do, but really this is just kind of a short little intro video to the thing and what I'm planning to do. All of these tires I'm just going to give to my dad to use on his Jeep if he wants them. These doors are shot anyways. Look at this. I don't want to repair that. I lubed it up so it works better. The windows do roll down. They're a bit stiff though. I want to get rid of those pedals. If you take a look here, look how close they are together. They don't look as close, but when I've got my foot on the brake, I've also got my foot on the fuel pedal, on the accelerator, which is 1, unsafe, and 2, kind of hideous. So I want to get rid of these pedals and put some stock ones in, or just bend this thing to the right a little bit. Also, the e-brake doesn't work, so I want to fix that so I can leave the thing running when it's without it being in gear. Everything up here works, like I said, except the temp gauge and the fuel gauge. I'm gonna fix those. I want to put a stereo in. I don't know if all the wiring's here. If not, I'll wire up my own with a couple amps. Another thing in the Rover 1 is, I'll show you in the pictures, but they have a steel bar that kind of attaches to this mount and runs the whole length of the dash here, so you can attach things to it. And it's kind of a holy shit bar too, which is pretty cool. I think the whole roll cage has to go, but I kind of don't want to get rid of it, just for safety. There's that floor. It's in pretty rough shape. So there's the engine in its glory. 4-liter. Apparently it's in high output, but I don't know how to tell. Maybe someone can help me out. So we do have to replace the air box. The one from the 4-liter apparently won't fit. So we'll have to get one from a YJ or a CJ, something that will fit in there, just to protect the whole engine. Then there's a few things in here that could use cleaning, like a couple of the sensors, maybe the throttle position sensor. This thing's falling off. Jesus, driving around like that. This thing's probably seen better days. There's a power steering leak down there I'd like to address. It's not super important. Other than that leak, and a leak from the fuel hose, this thing's dry. Now, of course, the valve cover gasket is a bit leaky, so I might replace that like I did in my one Jeep video. Yeah, if you're interested in a valve cover replacement, gasket replacement, I have a video on my Jeep ZJ where I did that with the same engine. And also there's a video where I replaced the header with the exhaust manifold down there because it had a crack in it, and also this thing, the intake. I don't know what else there is to do in this engine bay other than put a fan on. That's important. Amongst a few other things. Oil's good. Oh, I gotta check all the fluids in the diffs and the transfer case and the transmission. I have no idea what they're like. Could be empty, could be full, could be dirty. Doesn't matter too much. Both these axles are going bye-bye. But up until then, I'd like to keep them. Yeah, frame is icky. Gotta check the brakes and everything. But yeah, this is kind of just a little more in-depth look at the thing and what's coming for it in the future. Besides all the Rover 1 modifications, like the exterior roll cage, that's gonna take a lot of work, and actually building the walls and the roof and the top hatch. I don't know if it's gonna be functional. I don't know how to prevent rain from screwing that whole thing up, but we gotta build that little top hatch. And then the whole full-size door and all that custom stuff. But up until then, there's just some minor stuff. A little maintenance, a little resurrection. I'm told the thing was sitting since 2004, really. Boy, this S9 has a hard time focusing sometimes. Looks gross, but it'll do. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I've got to go to work soon, so I'm gonna pick up a few things. WD-40 being one of them. Can't believe I don't have any of that. Oh, what's cool about the front bumper on this thing is it's just a Smitty built XRC. I forget the model, but it's just a Smitty built front bumper, bolt on, and then I'll get a winch and then some mesh to replace that grill, and then that's basically the front end of the Rover minus the roll cage bits. And then the back bumper, I think, is also just a Smitty built bumper, which just replaces that one, and that's basically the rear of it. And also the Rover 1 has some sort of drop hitch as part of the look. Where I live, you're not allowed to drive around with a hitch attached, or the ball. It's illegal here, so I won't be able to drive around with it. I also won't be able to drive around with the zombie windshield. That's apparently impairs your vision, so I won't be able to drive with that. But these ones, I think I can put the zombie bars on here and not have a problem. And if I do, I'll make them so you can put them on and off with just a few bolts. Man, I'm so excited for this thing. It's unbelievable. I'm so excited that I'm forgetting everything that needs to be done, and I'm just rambling and showing you the damn Jeep and not making any sense and just saying this is that and that and this. But trust me, I have to be efficient with this thing because I don't have all that amount of time. I don't get paid all that much, and I don't want to make 17 trips to Canadian Tire and back in one day. So I'm trying to plan and strategize all my trips and expenses and everything so that it all is efficient. And one day I can focus just on the engine, and one day I can focus just on whatever and whatnot. So, but trust me, long intro video, maybe not much was said, I don't know, but I'm excited for this thing, man. Look at it. Oh, it's just so cool. That's why these are so expensive, is because it's cool. The cool factor is just there. Square headlights. Everyone hated these things, but now they're popular. By the way, where I live in Canada, this thing costs $2,000. That's what I paid for it. And they go up every year. So I'm very, very lucky to not have spent $6,000 on a YJ. This thing runs and drives. It's just kind of a rust bucket, but we'll make it work. Also, you'll find something funny. Whenever I go over bumps, this light goes off and on. And same with the rear light. So we'll have to address that too. Yeah, this thing is going to transform. This is going to be the coolest project I've ever worked on. Hands down. I'm still debating whether I should swap in 1-ton axles on this thing. Safety, performance, everything like that, 1-tons would be the way to go. 1-ton steering, 1-ton front axle, 1-ton rear axle, full floating axle, you know what I mean? But that adds so much weight. And by the time I build the walls and the roof, and extend the whole thing and put the 35-inch military tires on and all the other stuff, this thing is going to weigh much more. And I don't want to be traveling down the road getting 4 miles per gallon. I want to get some kind of efficiency. And that's the other thing. In the future, maybe a diesel swap. I don't know. A swap to something that's a little more efficient. You never know where you might end up. Yep. Well, that's it. I'm going to go. Gotta go to work. But next video I make should be a pretty good one. Until further news, I shall talk to you later. This is going to be good. Trust me, it's going to be good. Stay tuned. I'm losing my mind now.